Thank you very much. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me my great pleasure and honor to be back in Hong Kong after 73 years and to be with you all in person at the 2022 Hong Kong FinTech Week. Despite all the advances in communication technology, there is simply no substitute for the human touch, a close exchange of mind in person. Hong Kong has a long and proud role as a connector of people from across Asia and the rest of the world. People of ambition, of grit and determination, of intellect and creativity have long been attracted by Hong Kong's high standards, rule of law, and magnetic energy. As Asia's respected and resilient center of connectivity with mainland China, Asia, and the rest of the world, Hong Kong's deep pool of talent and capital play a critical role in promoting regional economic development and financial stability. Hong Kong's membership in the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank is a big plus in the bank's role to promote growth and lift people out of poverty and into prosperity in many of our low-income members. Furthermore, just as in Asia, and indeed the world, needs a strong and successful Hong Kong. Hong Kong's future depends on its people, particularly the younger generation broadly represented here today. Hong Kong's creative talents and innovative and creative abilities. That is why this Hong Kong FinTech Week is so critically important now more than ever. For those of you who do not yet know much about Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, I will say a few words. Our bank is the world's newest multilateral development bank established in and for the 21st century. It is certainly Hong Kong's bank. 7 years ago, we started with 57 founding members, and now we are 105, with $100 billion in capital to finance the sustainable infrastructure for tomorrow. We represent North and South, East and West, developed and developing economies. We operate to the highest standards of global governance and currently holds AAA credit rating. When I read articles about tech founders who began as a startup and who have built these multinational companies, I can relate to them. I'm over 30 and I do not wear hooded sweatshirts, but I can still relate. Behind every startup is the dream of a different world. Within this room, I see the dream of a financially inclusive Asia. An Asia where better access to financial services can make it possible for people to climb out of poverty by obtaining credit to invest in their education, to take out insurance to run a business, and to weather the shocks of our changing climate. The dream of a financial inclusive Asia where all who are able can generate income and improve the quality of their lives. As Irish poet W.B. Yeats wrote, "In dreams begin responsibility." If we dream of something, then we must do something about it. According to Amartya Sen, the noted Indian economist, the act of development is releasing individual agency of each person. By removing obstacles from the lives of ordinary people, we support Asia's economic development by expanding what people can do and become. Everyone in this room has an important role to play when it comes to continuing to improve the livelihood of the people of Asia and particularly lift the lowest income people out of poverty in some of our members. Research published by the IMF in 2017 highlights that expanding access to financial services, especially to poor households, can reduce income inequality in Asia's emerging economies. The research suggests that if financial inclusion, an emerging market leader in financial inclusion, the poverty rate in the region could fall by 4% or around 20 million people. Furthermore, if emerging Asia matches Singapore's level of financial access, income inequality could reduce by 10 to 20% Gini coefficient percentage points. However, as most in this room know, there's no magic bullet for achieving the dream of financial inclusion across Asia. Our region is incredibly diverse, with vast differences in per capita GDP and population size, and a dizzying variety of culture, linguistic, and religious diversity. What works in China or in Shanghai may not work in Surabaya. The FinTech sector must spend time working on easing financial access in each of Asia's local markets to ensure the financial services will be provided to the poorest of our region. Asia's poor and aspirational people are looking forward to the help provided by financial institutions to remove the financial barriers that block their pathway to a better life. Our bank also recognizes that one other key constraint affects access to financial inclusion in Asia: digital access. With the World Bank's now shifting from place you can go to a thing you do on a smartphone in your hand, it's clear to us that digital infrastructure is a crucial link for social development. It is now the fourth utility of the 21st century. Data and broadband have become essential necessities, fueling our economies, flowing through all the veins of our modern lives. Digital infrastructure is quickly becoming one of the most important tools to structure a balanced post-pandemic world that keeps people connected and communities resilient. However, the growth of the digital sector has left in its wake a widening divide. According to the International Telecommunication Union, in 2021, 39% of Asia-Pacific population were not digitally connected. Globally, only 30% of the population has digital skills needed for productive tasks. These barriers frustrate efforts to improve financial inclusion across Asia. It is for this reason that our bank thinks about infrastructure a little bit differently. We go beyond the traditional physical infrastructure, like roads and power stations, to include communications infrastructure, digital infrastructure, educational infrastructure, any structure or facility that opens new opportunities or capital pools towards a more sustainable society. To support the growth of Asia's digital economy, our bank targets financing towards two aspects of digital infrastructure. The first is infrastructure development that supports expansion of the digital economy. The 5G towers, fiber cables, and data centers that are essential for bridging the digital divide, ensuring more equitable economic growth. The second is digitalizing existing infrastructure into smart infrastructure. This means we are thinking not just towers and data centers, but also smart cities, smart grids, smart roads, and smart vehicles. By thinking about digital infrastructure in a holistic manner, our bank seeks to support efforts to improve financial access across all of Asia. Given the scale of the challenge, private sector capital is an essential partner to the mission of reducing Asia's digital divide and improving financial inclusion. Public and private capital must work together to leverage our respective strengths. Our bank is laser-focused on scaling up our impact to achieve this vision. We are investing in opportunities that leverage every greater amount of private capital toward infrastructure investment. By 2030, our aim is to have 50% of all our financing to be directed towards the private sector. One example is our bank's investment in Bayfront Infrastructure Management, which is Asia's first fully fledged infrastructure securitization platform. Bayfront was co-created in 2019 by Clifford Capital and our bank, with our bank taking a 30% minority share. Last year, our bank invested an additional $60 million in infrastructure asset-backed securities issued by Bayfront. This insurance was the first of its kind in Asia and mobilized a total $400 million for rated and listed infrastructure debt securities. Our bank stands ready to invest patiently and strategically in other new financial innovations that can scale up infrastructure investment across Asia. Though the road ahead is far from certain, Asia's FinTech sector has already shown the tangible benefits and awesome potential of a financially inclusive Asia. It is now our shared responsibility to ensure we realize the true potential of FinTech to foster a more prosperous and equitable Asia for all. Hong Kong stands in the forefront of financial innovation, and that is why this meeting is of great significance in bringing all of us together to make a difference. Thank you very much for your attention.